Welcome to day 6 of our review unit. For today, you're going to be needing a ruler and a calculator. So make sure you have both of those ready to go. All right, for day 6, our goal for today, given a system of equations or inequalities, you will be able to solve algebraically and graphically. All right, so let's hop right into it. So we're going to start by solving our systems graphically. All right, so number 1, solve the system of equations graphically. So we have f of x equals 3x minus 4 and h of x equals 1/2 x plus 4. So yesterday we talked about function notation. So remember, f of x, h of x, that's just a fancy way of saying this is going to be our function. So this is our y equals. So we're just going to change that to y equals. And now this looks much more familiar to us with how to solve. So let's go ahead and let's graph these. So our first equation, we're going to start at -4, and our slope is 3. So up 3 over 1. Up 3 over 1. And then we're going to use our ruler, and we're going to connect our points, draw our arrows, and we always make sure that we label. So y equals 3x minus 4. Now our second equation, we're going to start at +4. Now our slope is 1/2. So we're going to go up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2. All right, and then we're going to connect those. All right, and again, at the arrow, we're going to go ahead and write our equation. So we see our solution is going to be right here, but our solution is not at an integer point. So here, we're going to have to use our calculator to find the solution. We're going to round to the nearest tenth. So we're going to go to our y equals, and we're going to type these in. So 3x minus 4 and 1/2 x plus 4. So we hit graph. We can see that we have both of our lines are the same. So now we're going to go second, trace, and we're going to go down here to choice 5, which is intersect. Now we have a blinking dot. We're going to put that right at the intersection point. Now we have little questions they're going to ask us. We're just going to hit enter until it says the word intersection. So this is going to be our solution. So our solution is going to be 3.2, comma, 5.6. And we've just solved graphically. Okay, so next up, we're going to review solving our equations by using algebra, so algebraically. So solve algebraically. So there's two methods for solving algebraically. There's using substitution and there's using elimination. So here we're going to use substitution because if I look at number 1, it's y equals. So I'm going to put the parentheses around that 2x, and I'm going to replace it for the y in the second equation. So the second equation becomes x plus 2x equals 21. So we're going to get 3x equals 21. So then x is equal to 7. So now that I have my x, we need to find my y. So we can use either one of these equations to solve for y. So y equals 2 times 7. So then y is equal to 14. So that's going to be my answer. X equals 7, y equals 14. Now, if I take a look at number 2, I'm not going to use substitution because neither one of these equations is x equals or y equals. I'm going to use what's called elimination because the x's are lined up, the y's are lined up, the equals are lined up, and the constants are lined up. In order to use elimination, I need the leading coefficients to be the same number, but opposite signs. So I'm going to take my first equation and multiply by 3. My second equation, I'm going to multiply by -2. So let's go ahead. So we have to distribute to everything. And when we do that, we're going to get 6x plus 9y equals 18. Now when we distribute to the second equation, we're going to get -6x minus 10y equals -30. Now I'm going to add these two together. So the 6x's are going to cancel. We're going to get -y equals -12. Then I'm going to divide both sides by -1. So we get y is equal to 12. So there's the first part of my solution. Now we have to solve for x. So you can pick either one of those. I'm going to pick the first one. So 2x plus 3 times 12 equals 6. We're going to solve for x, and we get x to be equal to -15. And we have our solutions. Okay, now systems of equations will also occur in word problems. So let's take a look here at number 3. Most farm stand sold a total of 165 pounds of apples and peaches. She sold apples for $1.75 per pound and peaches for $2.50 per pound. She made $337.50. How many pounds of peaches did she sell? All right, well, if I think carefully here, we have two different things happening. We have apples and we have peaches. So there's two different things that we're really going to solve for, and at the end, we're going to look for the peaches. So let's take a look at our important pieces of information. We have 165 pounds of apples and peaches. Okay, so that means I'm going to have apples plus peaches equals 165. Then we have apples are 175, peaches are 250, and the total money is $337.50. So remember, money, 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 money. Show me the money. The monies are all going to go together. So let's take a look. So that's going to be $1.75 for the apples plus $2.50 for the peaches. And that's going to be equal to a total of $337.50. Now, if I look at the way that this is aligned, I see that my A's are aligned, my P's are aligned, the equals, and then the constants. So I'm going to use elimination here. So I'm going to take my first equation, and I'm going to multiply by negative 1.75. When I do that, I'm going to rewrite it down here. So I'm going to get a negative 1.75a minus 1.75p equals, and we're going to end up with a, well, let's go ahead and we're going to use our calculators. So 165 times a negative 1.75, and we're going to get negative $288.75. Now the second equation, I'm going to write that, and we're not going to change anything because now my leading coefficients are the same. Okay, so now I'm going to add these together, and my A's are going to cancel. I'm going to get 0.75p equals, now when I add these together, I'm going to get 48.75. So to solve for p, we're going to divide by 0.75, divide by 0.75, and p is going to be equal to 65. All right, now if I take a look at the problem, I'm trying to solve for the pounds of peaches. We just did that, so it's going to be 65. And we've got it. All right, so now we've reviewed solving our systems of equations graphically, algebraically, and in a word problem. So up next, let's go ahead and flip it over. So let's go ahead and try an exam style question. So here we go. The Real Good Cinema is conducting a mathematical study. In the theater, there are 200 seats. Adult tickets are $12.50 and child tickets are $6.25. The cinema's goal is to sell at least $1,500 worth of the tickets for the theater. Write a system of linear inequalities that can be used to find the possible combinations of adult tickets X and child tickets Y that would satisfy the cinema's goal. All right, so let's stop there. So we want a system. So a system means there's going to be two equations. Adult tickets are X, child tickets are Y. So let's go back to the original question and let's see if we can find the key information here. So in the theater, there are 200 seats. So that's important. There's 200 seats. Adult tickets are $12.50. Child tickets are $6.25. And they need to sell at least $1,500. So right away, I see money, money, money. So I'm going to go ahead and put all the monies together. So $12.50 X plus $6.25 Y. They have to sell at least. So that means they have to sell more than or equal to $1,500. All right, now we have to find one more equation. And I haven't used this information here yet, 200 seats. So there's 200 seats in the theater. That means the adult tickets plus the child tickets have to be less than or equal to 200. I can't sell more than 200 tickets, okay, but I can sell less than or equal to. So now we have our system. All right, next, part 2. Graph the solution to the system of inequations on the set of axes on the next page, which we actually have it below. Label the solution with an S. So now we want to graph both of these on the graph below. So I'm going to go ahead, in order to graph them, I have to have it in standard form. So I'm going to make both of these y equals, or y alone. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 1250 x minus 1250x. So now we get 6.25y is greater than or equal to negative 12.50x plus 1500. I divide by 6.25. All right, and we're going to end up with y is greater than or equal to. Now we're going to divide this out, and we're going to end up with negative 2x plus 240. So that's going to be my first inequality. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's graph this. So we have 240. So we start at 240. Okay, so now we want to go, our slope is negative 2, but if I look here at my scale, we're going to go, it's all counting by 10, so I would be good. So we're going to go down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. And once I have a bunch of these plotted, I can go ahead and use my ruler, connect the dots. Now it has to be greater than or equal to, so that means we're going to shade up. Okay, now we're going to take our second equation and we're going to graph it. Okay, so I'm going to bring that down. So we have x plus y has to be less than or equal to 200. So I want to get the y alone, so I'm going to subtract the x. So y has to be less than or equal to, oops, I'm going to write the x part first. So negative x plus 200. So I'm going to start at 200, and we're going to go down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. Okay, once I get a bunch of the points plotted, I can go ahead and draw my line. All right, and this time we want to shade, it's less than or equal to, so we're going to shade underneath. Okay, so label the solution with an S. So where did we shade twice? We shaded twice in this area right here. All right, so now the last part of this question, zoom out there. It says, Marta claims that selling 30 adult tickets and 80 child tickets will result in the meeting the cinema's goal. Explain whether she is correct or incorrect based on the graph drawn. Well, let's check it out. So adult tickets was your X, so this was adult, and this was child, was the Y. So let's take a look. If I go over 30 and up 80, is that in my solution set? No, it's not. So we're going to say Marta is not correct because 30, 80 is not in the solution. And we have it. So ladies and gentlemen, this is a word problem based off of a system of inequalities. All right, see you in class tomorrow.